Hey everybody, it is Lorelia coming to you tonight. As you see the title, Recession and Real Estate 2022. So as I film this video, currently right now, the economic experts, specialists, those who are, how should I say, the go to people in terms of the GDP here in the US, has officially said that we are in a recession. And so many people believe that we were in a recession a year ago. Some people say 6 months ago. Well, according to economic experts here in the US, they have officially said that we are in a recession based on the GDP for the past 2 quarters. This video is not to go into the GDP or any type of economic expertise on the subject. This is to give you a perspective of what's to come in the future. Now that they have said that we are in a bona fide recession. Now, I never want to assume that you know who I am. Not new to the conversation of real estate, business credit, or personal credit. That's what I primarily talk about on this channel. And as of today, July 2022, I have currently helped investors. We are close to $700,000 in business funding to leverage to be able to invest in asset based real estate investments. What do I mean? That's multifamily investment, real estate investment properties that are asset based, that's by leveraging asset based financing using business funding, business credit, and coupling it with asset based financing. So let's get into it. You know, I was having a conversation with my son today, and we were talking about real estate. And so I shared with him, and I thought about the video that recently came out with Kevin Hart and Jay-Z. And so I'm going to tie these two stories together. Give me a moment. So when I was talking to my son about real estate, now I've said in previous videos that real estate is the best. And of course, I'm going to be partial because that's what I specialize in. I'm not a stock person. I'm not a bonds person, not a crypto person. Real estate is what is my go-to. Understand, with the recession being what they say is the bona fide place where it's at, the best way to protect yourself and hedge yourself against inflation is by using real estate. As long as you buy right, you are not heavy leverage, and you are cash flowing, because there's always a little asterisk. It's not just because you're buying real estate. And so I say all that to say that for myself, every economic turn that has happened since I've been an adult, starting with the 2008 real estate crash, that is when, for myself, opportunities presented themselves. The other economic disruption we had was during COVID. I did a video about that. I talked about the importance of, now is the time, while the world and the country was quiet, to tap in with education so you can be able to position yourself and prepare what's to come. That is the same story now. What are you going to do different? Because most people have people living in fear. You have your financial literacy experts, your personal finance experts who are telling you to save because we are in a recession. But that is not the advice they are following, because if they are an expert in the industry, they know that you cannot save yourself in a recession. You cannot do it. So going back to, the story that I originally was talking about with my son, and I was talking about real estate. And I said, it's sad that we as a people don't know the rules of the game in regards to having an asset. See, when you have an asset, when you own something that is generating cash flow, or if it's just an asset that you own and you have equity, you literally have an ATM machine at your disposal. Of course, little asterisks. You can't be behind in your mortgage. You can't be facing bankruptcy. You can't be in foreclosure. You can't have bad credit. But with all those things set aside and you do own something, it can literally be an ATM machine. So let me give you a real life scenario of clients of mine. Last year, you may have seen the testimonials where a client of mine purchased two properties leveraging business credit. Now, I always tell people, do not come to me if you are looking to get cheap funding. What do I mean by that? You know that your bank charges this and you are trying to get prime lending rates. You can't get now. I'm not doing predatory, but if you understand anything about private equity, many of the lenders are private equity firms, direct lenders, that's secondary market funding. So what that means is that you're not going to get the same rates as a bank. But the good thing is that with the strategy that I teach, because it's all about strategy, it's all about a framework and strategy. It's not about the funding. So, with a client of mine who was able to purchase two properties, leveraging business funding, the properties are free and clear. During the course of this year, before this date, as I filmed this video, July 2022, the client of mine was already in talks with the local bank in her area about being able to get a line of credit against those properties. Now, this is not money that she's looking to use. She doesn't even need access to it. She's not looking to use it to rehab, to get herself in a bind, out of a bind. She's just using it for positioning. And I told her, the rates are great. I can't even get you those rates. There's nobody on the secondary market that can beat the rates of the local market, of your local bank. Why do I bring up that story? I bring up that story to let her know and to let you all know that is the power of real estate and leverage. That is the power of being able to leverage business credit or business funding to purchase real estate and now put yourself in position that when economic changes happen, like what's going on now with a recession, will you be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are coming up the pipeline? Or are you going to live in fear? Because there are going to be people in these next 7 to 10 years that are in position and they're going to be able to thrive. Or are you going to be that person who is just surviving? Now, going back to what I said about Jay-Z and Kevin Hart, Jay-Z made a good point. He said there's a difference between, and I'm paraphrasing it, there's a difference between having knowledge and knowing what to do with the knowledge. What he was saying was anyone can get some knowledge, but do you know how to apply that knowledge and use that knowledge as information? Now, once again, I'm paraphrasing it, it's not his exact words. But he was pretty much saying that you need more than just knowledge. And that's why now, what are you going to do? Because many people come to me and they're like, I need to get funding. And this is my answer: anyone can get you funding. You can go right on Google and type in business funding, real estate funding, asset based financing. But with getting that funding, hey, how you doing, Curtis? Thanks for joining me tonight. With getting that funding, do you have a strategy that's going to help you and position you to prepare yourself while you're in this recession? And the answer is no, because people are trying to save their way through this recession. And going back to what I said about Jay-Z and I said about Kevin Hart, is that, thank you, Curtis. Yes, it's about strategy. You can have knowledge, but do you know what to, with that knowledge, do you know how to extract from that knowledge and use that knowledge as information to help you? And that is the disconnect that most people have. Why? Because we are new. Many of us are new to this conversation. People who look like me, we are new to this conversation of leverage, real estate, credit, or what have you. And so you literally have people who are trying to hide their head in the sand, because historically that is what we have been told as a people, that this is the time to retract and put our head in the sand and wait it out. Whereas there are going to be opportunities coming up the pipeline, and are you in position? And most people aren't in position. And I cannot stress enough, during this economic contraction that the US is going through, what are you going to do different? Curtis says new conversation of leverage, real estate, wealth, and net worth bill. Exactly. It's all about a new conversation. That's why I tell people, don't come to me if you're trying, if you want me to convince you, can you get funding? That ain't hard to do. I did a video on that. I think my last video I talked about, anyone can get some funding. Anybody can get that. Yes, A. Willis, learn skills, financial skills, and be able to extract from that knowledge and use that information. Because going back to what I said in my last video, anybody can get some funding, even people with bad credit. But if you don't know, and if you don't know what type of funding it is, because I said in the last video, wealthy people don't make other wealthy people rich. And that's what's going to go on during this contraction. Financially, I don't want to say slow, but financially, um, what's the word? Um, Challenged. Those who are financially challenged, those who don't have the financial literacy skills, are going to be the ones who make the rich wealthy. A. Willis says exactly. It's all about leverage. Yes, that's what it's about. Put yourself in a position. Curtis says funding only a business or growing assets or assets. Exactly. It is much bigger than, it is much bigger. I'm sorry, I got to text this person back. It's much bigger than just getting the funding, much bigger than that. It's about being able to extract and get access to that money so you can invest in a cash flowing asset that's going to help you hedge against inflation. Give me a second. I had to text somebody. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So going back, we had A. Willis says exactly it's all about leverage, like you said. Curtis said funding owning a business or growing an asset to get assets. Exactly. Most people are looking to just do that. Most people do not have the most people don't have the financial aptitude to really know what to do with the funding. And that's the sad thing, because if you are not if you don't know what to do, you could lose your shirt. Now that's the other side of the coin that no one wants to talk about. Exactly, Curtis. Hedge yourself against inflation. But I rather tell you the real truth instead of a soft lie. And I even tell clients this. There is a good chance that you can get access to funding, leverage it into an asset based financing situation where you have a multifamily that's cash flowing. But if you do not buy right, if you do not get the right funding, you can literally lose your shirt. Because I'm going to be honest with you, rates have changed. Early part of this summer, for multifamily asset based financing, I was able to assist investors with getting between 6.5 to 7%. We're not talking primary. Please don't tell me about FHA and those primary rates. We're talking about investor asset based financing between 5 to 6%. We are now with rates going up. Yes, asset based lenders have raised rates as well. Now we're between 7 and 8%. So what does that mean? Even in the primary home market, and even though that's not what I'm talking about, because both of them are relative, there's a good chance that what you could afford 6 months ago is going to be different than what you can afford now, because the cheese has moved. Curtis says getting a good credit score is hard work. So getting funding should only deploy the funds to a good business or a real estate project. And I totally agree. I totally agree, Curtis. And that's why I said the grim side of it, the part that people don't want to talk about, with even with all that being said, it is a good chance that you can lose your shirt. Why? Based on what I just said. With rates changing, that means your acquisition to get into the property is going to change. And if that is above your comfort level or above your knowledge level, you can literally lose your shirt. That's real talk. So, in these economic changing times, know the difference, because now is not, even though there are great opportunities, but now is not the time to want to experiment. I don't know, it looks like I froze or something. Now is not the time to want to experiment. So, looks like I froze. So I hope everyone hears me. But pretty much that's really my thoughts on recession and real estate. I hope everyone can see me. Oh, you all are still with me. Curtis says business margins are getting smaller as rates rise. Exactly. I need the cord. I need the cord. A cord. It's right there. Okay, I think I'm back. I think I'm back. Yes. All right. So Curtis was saying business margins are getting smaller as rates rise. Exactly. That is what I was saying, Curtis. What 6 months ago, what it took for you to get into an investment property is going to be different than what it takes now as of July. Everything has changed. All the all the cheese has moved. All the moving pieces are moving on the board. The funding pieces are moving. The real estate financing is moving, and that is why I said don't lose your shirt out here. The gurus are not going to tell you this, and you will literally lose your shirt. And I would rather tell you the real truth instead of a soft lie. I would rather tell you that. So, more to come, more to come. I'm going to wrap it up right here. I know I kind of paused. So, those who are watching the replay, please leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, let me know what you think with real estate and a recession 2022. What moves are you going to make? Are you going to contract, or are you going to thrive? Thank you, A. Willis, for sticking on. I enjoyed the live. Thank you. Make sure you hit the bell. I believe you on YouTube, and subscribe. So you get when I go live again, you'll get the notifications. I think that's how it works. YouTube is always changing, and I apologize for the pausing and the interruptions. Yes, Curtis, a soft lie. I said in other videos, some people are going to lose their shirt. They literally are going to lose their shirt. And so you are going to see that people who were going very hard with real estate 6 months ago are going to phase out. You're not going to hear from them. But once again, if you want to stay tuned, like I said, links will be below this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. And my goal is to make these more frequent. But things happen. Running a business, I don't get on YouTube as much. But my goal is to continue sharing the knowledge, because there's so many economic ups and downs uh, every day. And I like to talk and discuss it. So looking forward to talking to you in the next video. Okay.